Well, you got to say the second year of life after Brady for the New England Patriots wasn't a total wash or a total loss by any stretch of the imagination. It's still clearly obvious that early on, post the Brady-Belichick marriage, that Brady has a big advantage over Belichick, but we were only 2 seasons in, but so far, Brady's got the big advantage. Just saying. But again, like the second year of life after Brady for this organization wasn't a total wash. Mac Jones started every game. They were able to get him to come to them at the 15th overall pick in the 2021 draft. Got him to start every game. And even at one point in time in the season with a rookie quarterback, let's not forget, people were starting to buy into this team potentially getting into the AFC Championship game, maybe being a Super Bowl threat with a rookie quarterback like Mac Jones. Because in part of the fact that this team at one point won 7 games in a row. Like, people were thinking they were legit. Now, they ultimately were able to kind of backslide into the playoffs. But not too surprisingly, they got rocked in the wild card round by the Bills. Absolutely rocked. They got drubbed 47-17. They absolutely got rocked. And I look at that and I say, if you tell anybody that we're going to have a rookie quarterback and he's going to start every game, throw for like 3,800 yards, and you'll win double-digit games and make the playoffs, you probably consider that a successful season. If the Bears had done that with Justin Fields last year, like won double-digit games, Justin Fields makes every start, he throws for like 3,800 yards, I feel incredibly excited about that. I'd be optimistic about the future of the Bears. Because I would say, man, to get that out of a rookie quarterback is really damn good. It really is. But I don't know how I feel about this Patriots team this go-round. You would think in theory with another year of Mac Jones that there's room for growth there, but I don't know. Like, I look at this team and I say, Bill Belichick, the head coach, is arguably the best coach in the league. Bill Belichick, the general manager, is arguably the worst drafting general manager in the league. And Bill Belichick, the general manager, continues to make life incredibly difficult for Bill Belichick, the head coach. And if Bill Belichick wasn't GOAT mode as a head coach, the Patriots would be even worse shape than they already are. As you look at the offseason, you lose J.C. Jackson and Ted Karras and Kyle Van Noy. So every year they're losing guys off of the roster. And how do they go about plugging those gaps? At some point in time, the coaching can only matter up to a certain point. And even when you look at the draft, you would sit there and say, okay, a guy like Belichick with so much experience in football, so much experience running a front office and being the general manager and being in charge of personnel and scouting, that he would be able to replenish the talent. And he doesn't. Like, you look at this year's draft. I don't give a shit about your Patriots way. Your Patriots way when it comes to early draft picks in recent years has absolutely frickin' sucked. And this year, Cole Strange in the first round, sure, he'll start on the offensive line, but that's about not knowing how to play the draft game. Probably could have traded back, gotten him a little later, maybe in round 2. Tyquan Thornton in round 2. Like, that felt like a massive reach at wide receiver. Every year it feels like Belichick damn near every year is reaching for somebody in damn rounds 1, 2, and or 3. And when I talk about this, Belichick the GM is killing Belichick the head coach. Look at the draft picks for this team in the first 3 rounds since 2014 that are still with the Patriots. And what's the significance of that time frame? We're 2014 to 2019. It's too early to pass too much judgment on draft classes from 2020 and 2021. Those guys aren't even through their rookie contracts yet. But you start looking at 2019, they're coming up at the end of their rookie contracts. And before that, these are guys that are past their rookie contracts now. How many of the guys from the 2014 draft that were drafted in the first 3 rounds are with the team still? 0. Easily bust. Garoppolo traded. 2015, Malcolm Brown, bust. Jordan Richards, bust. Geno Grissom, bust. 2016, Cyrus Jones, bust. Joe Thuney, good. Not with team anymore. Jacoby Brissett, solid for a 3rd-round pick. Backup quarterback, not with team anymore. And Valentine. Vincent Valentine? I'm struggling to even remember the name because that's how bad it was. Bust. These are guys that you're looking at that would be in their late 20s, early 30s. That should be the foundation, the core, the leaders, the stars, the superstars of your team. And this son of a bitch doesn't have any of them. 2017, remember he didn't have the first or second round pick. Derek Rivers and Garcia were the 2 third-round picks. Rivers stunk. He hardly played. And then Garcia, I don't think ever played in the damn league, the offensive tackle from Troy. You look at 2018, Isaiah Wynn's still with the team and a starter on the offensive line. But Sony Michel, he played a role in the one Super Bowl team, but he's gone and he's elsewhere. He certainly was a disappointment. I mean, you took Sony Michel instead of Nick Chubb. Duke Dawson, the defensive back from the second round, how did that work out? We already know. You look at 2019, that's by far the best draft that Belichick's had in a long time. But even there, his first-round pick, N'Keal Harry, was a complete and total bust for the team. I can't imagine looking at those results and saying to yourself that the Patriot way is the right way to go. When it comes to the draft, ding-dong, dumb dick, it's not. Imagine how dominant the Patriots would be as an on-field football team if Bill Belichick wasn't so incompetent as a drafter. We are much closer to seeing Bill Belichick in a Chuck Noll, Tom Landry type of state than we are seeing him have some late career success without Tom Brady. Because of those persistent, consistent failures in the draft, in my opinion. And just amazing. The GOAT head coach is handicapped by himself, one of the worst general managers that we've seen. And you're going to say, well, the general manager that you're shit-talking's won a lot of Super Bowls. That's because the head coach had to overcome just how bad Bill Belichick is when it comes to personnel and drafting. Just saying. So when you look at this Patriots team and Belichick rant, because he sucks as a general manager, when you look at this team, what are the strengths? Their offensive line units should be pretty good. They should be able to run the ball. I would think with Stevenson and Harris, they'll be able to run the ball. And that's important with a young quarterback, I suppose. This was a unit as well, a team, I should say, in 2021 that played great defense. Their pass defense was absolutely elite. So, you look at that and you say, okay, you can protect your quarterback, you can run the ball, and you can get after the quarterback somewhat, but you play outstanding back-end defense with your secondary. You're going to win a lot of games. But when I look at this team, some of the concerns I have, what's Mac Jones' ceiling? We saw what he was as a rookie. How much better is he really going to get from his rookie year? And then I look at Belichick, and when I think about, incompetence and gross negligence for your young quarterback as a general manager, just how boo-boo is this receiving group? The skill players around Mac Jones are laughable. They're pathetic. And the hoodie has nobody to blame but himself. You don't have Tom Brady back there. Wake up. Modernize a little bit. And understand you need to get yourself some damn weapons on offense. And just because you rolled craps on N'Keal Harry doesn't mean you stop going after those weapons early on. And stop automatically assuming that your system always picks the right talent, because guess what? I just showed you just how flawed and much of a fallacy that really is. And, not a great position, I think, in some ways, for a young quarterback to go, especially now that Josh McDaniels, his offensive coordinator, is left. He's the head coach of the Raiders. Then I look defensively, how good is their run defense going to be? I'm not as high on the Patriots as I thought I was going to be. The more I started thinking about this team and looking at the track record, there are certainly warning signs there. And even somebody as great of a head coach as Bill Belichick is, he can't overcome all of the mistakes of the general manager, who also happens to be him. We're going to find out about this team in the first few weeks of the season, because they got to go to Miami and to Pittsburgh to start off the year. So 2 road games to start out. And then you host Baltimore. And then you got to go to Green Bay, so 3 of your first 4 games are on the road. Miami certainly seems like they're going to be poised to improve this year. We'll see what happens with Pittsburgh. I think they're in for a bit of a regression, but still a road game. Baltimore with Lamar can still be scary. And then you got to go to Green Bay to play Aaron Rodgers. Best of luck to you. And then you look at the last 6 weeks of the schedule for them. They host the Bills. They got to go to Arizona. That's a playoff team. Go to the Raiders, playoff team. Cincinnati, conference champions. They host them, but those are the defending conference champions. Miami, they host, again, potential playoff team. And then they got to go to Buffalo. Like, that beginning stretch of the season, tough. That ending stretch of the season, really tough. You want to make some hay, you're going to have to make it there in the middle. I'm just not buying into the Patriots this year. I think Mac Jones is a good quarterback. I just don't know how much true upside he really has. And when you look at the talent that's around him or the lack of talent that's around him, how much better do you really think he's going to be compared to his 2021 rookie campaign? So I think the Patriots are going to finish third in this division. They're going to finish a few games ahead of the Jets, but they're going to finish a few games behind the Dolphins and the Bills. I think they're going to win like 7 games. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I think the Patriots are heading in the wrong direction.